Wagwan everyone, and welcome back to another stream. As you can see, this is quite a different setup I've got here, so apologies for running late, people. I'm so sorry for that. It's only a couple minutes late, but trying to set up a new setup here, getting to grips with things. So let me know how it looks. Let me know if you prefer it. I'm just trying something new. Sorry if I look a bit of a mess. I didn't get time to really prepare myself for this because I was running a bit late, but got to bring you that content. So I'm here today. As you can see from the title, I'm here to talk about Odegaard and Ramsdale. I hope you're doing well, though. Thank you for clicking on this video and giving it a watch. If you do like it, please leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe for more content. Also, turn on them post notifications, people. Come on. We need to get this cracking now. Let's go. We'll start off with the Ødegaard news. I learned how to pronounce his name properly, by the way. It's actually in Norwegian, it's pronounced Ødegaard. The double A pronounces with two O's, like a O in English type of thing. So it's Martin Ødegaard. So this has cost Arsenal less than 40 million euros into pounds. That this transfer will cost 34 million pounds. He has signed a 5-year contract, or there's a 5-year contract that's been agreed. Nothing's official yet in terms of the signing. Nothing's really official until we see the guy holding the shirt. We've seen plenty of transfers in the past where, everything's meant to be official, it's meant to be happening, and next thing you know, it falls through like that. So just to quickly go through again, it is cost less than 40 million euros, which in pounds is less than 34 million, sorry. He signed a 5-year contract, and Ødegaard has always been the priority for Arsenal. This is according to Fabrizio Romano, which is what I saw from his tweet. He's here we go, confirmed it. So, when he does the here we go, that basically means he's confirmed. Right, so for Ødegaard, for me, my opinions, first of all, I'm going to talk about how I thought he was on loan when he came in from January to the end of the season. With Ødegaard, I remember he came on for his debut against Aston Villa. He came on, we ended up losing that game, like plenty of Arsenal games do end in defeat, especially last season. But he came on and he did have little glimpses where he was picking up the ball. He was confident. He was showing the glimpses of Ødegaard that we ended up seeing on a little bit more of a consistent basis as he grew into the team. Standout performances was against West Ham in that 3-3 draw where we were 3-0 down, and he really led the team in not just a creative aspect, but from picking up the ball, not being afraid to try things, really. He did stand out in that game, and not giving up, also mentally as well, helping Arsenal pick themselves back up and end up gaining a point away at the London Stadium, scoring a cracking goal against Olympiacos, away at Olympiacos, where Jose saw, for me, that was a bit of a mistake from the goalkeeper, but that was an important goal for Arsenal to take the lead. That away goal changed the game, and we saw his long-range shooting abilities, which is what we've not really been, what you would really usually associate with Martin Ødegaard. But also, he did show the creativity side. I know the stats won't necessarily prove it in terms of that period of time. He did suffer an injury towards the end of last season, which kind of derailed his season, in my opinion. He wasn't the same Ødegaard that we saw when he initially came in, as I said, against West Ham. Also, he's picked up a goal against Tottenham. If you score a goal against Tottenham, you're always going to be an Arsenal legend, especially if it comes in a win. And a legend already, I'm throwing that about, it's a bit too much. But yeah, for me, he was a good signing in that transfer window for the loan period. We was frustrated as Arsenal fans that we didn't have an option to buy. And as they say, never fall in love with a lone player. I feel like as a fan myself, I did start falling in love with Ødegaard. There was a lot of him that I liked and that we lacked. Just like with the initials MO, I know it's a different accent on the O, but he did show what Arsenal missed with having not playing Mesut Ozil. So Ødegaard really did pick up the creative side. Not just credit for him for Arsenal's form turnarounds, as when ESR came in and Emile Smith-Rowe, we picked up that win at Chelsea after we couldn't even win a game since for a month, was it? We couldn't even score a goal. Our goal of the month was a penalty against Man United of Aubameyang's. So Martin Ødegaard did make a contribution to the side in a season that we didn't end with a trophy. We didn't end with any particular success, but he did make a difference and improved our form as we went up the table. So my opinions on the permanent transfer, the fact that it does cost £34 million or less than £34 million, that for me is a steal for a player of Martin Ødegaard's stature in terms of his potential within the game. He's been at Real Madrid since he was age 16. I know he didn't really have a settled time there. He was out on loan a lot. But for someone who his age, who when he did initially sign for Real Madrid, and he has had glimpses. He's not been a total flop. He was never really a flop at Real Madrid. I just don't really think, and Real Madrid fans, well, I don't know what they think, but of him really. I haven't really been looking too much into them and what they're thinking. But in terms of his ability, he has shown in La Liga from his long period from Real Sociedad that he can perform at that level. Maybe he hasn't really proven it at a club of the size of Real Madrid or their stature or stature even over a period of time at Arsenal. So we've still got to look forward to that and hopefully that he does perform in an Arsenal shirt because, you know, the badge does get quite heavy, especially when you're someone that's going to be relied upon. It's a bit different when you're a lone player because you're kind of coming in hoping to get game time, hoping to impress with the view of going back to your parent club and really making sure that you are making waves and making reasons for why I should be playing more at my parent club. He did seem to fall in love with Arsenal from hearing from a lot of the press online, on social media, in press conferences. He was enjoying the environment, which is quite a surprise to many Arsenal fans because, as we believe at Arsenal, it seems to be like a toxic place when in the cases of Kieran Tierney, Martin Ødegaard, Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Martinelli, Emile Smith-Rowe, it doesn't seem to be that toxic after all for him to decide to come back here and want to make his move permanent because I believe that this that he had a contract agreement in principle anyway, in terms of, you know, like how players do nowadays with teams anyway. They got to find out if a team's in before they make the move to the team that they're willing to buy for. They make the move to the players to understand if the player would be interested in the move. And Martin Ødegaard did seem interested, and there was a lot of talk of that coming from early. It was just whether Arsenal could strike a deal with Real Madrid, if Real Madrid were willing to let him go for this amount of price, and a price that would suit Arsenal. And the fact that we've been able to make this transfer without European football, because I remember towards the end of the season, a lot of fans were saying, if we don't make Europe, we're not going to be able to sign players like Martin Ødegaard. I keep calling him Ødegaard, you know, that's the real pronunciation. But we're not going to be able to sign players like him and really kick on as a club. And why would he want to stay at Arsenal if we're not in Europe? I mean, it says a lot. The guy is 22. He performed well at Arsenal. I'm sure there would have been interest from other clubs as well. Maybe not at this moment in time where other clubs around Europe could have paid the fee. Well, we've just seen Tammy Abraham go to Roma for the same price. Actually, probably more. Actually, yeah, more, £34 million as well. So just a little bit more, however much we are paying for Ødegaard. But yeah, he did show promise. He's 22 as well. So he's still got a lot of time to grow. And he does have a good, stable, he does have enough proof, to show that he can perform at this level. And we saw it at Arsenal as well. For me, what I believe, signing Martin Ødegaard is better than Arsenal signing James Maddison. I know that might strike to a few Arsenal fans that are hearing this because James Maddison was the preferred signing. I can see why. In terms, he's Premier League proven. He scored more goals. The stats prove it as well. In terms of, if we're looking from a stats point of view, he's got better GA, goals and assists. He's played for a better team. He's been consistent. He's got set pieces to his game, etc. There are positives in signing Maddison, and I would have been happy if Arsenal would have signed Maddison. But I believe this is a better signing for Arsenal overall. For one, the creativity aspect. Maddison may have more assists than Ødegaard, but for me, from what I've seen from the both players in the eye test, I believe that Ødegaard has a better, the way he plays, his eye for a pass, and the way he completes that passes as well. I saw when he was at Arsenal, he completed 90% of his passes, which for an attacking midfielder, by the way, is he's quite high, because attacking midfielders generally make the more riskier passes, trying to play the balls into the striker in dangerous areas. Playing the ball into the box is a difficult thing to do, a difficult skill in football, given how crowded and how compact boxes are, especially in the Premier League. The fact he completed 90% of his passes is quite good, but that may, as I said, that may make you think, oh, he just plays it safe. No, but he's averaged 2.2 key passes a game, and key passes basically means that passes that lead to a chance, and that is decent for Martin Ødegaard. And hopefully now, when he's at Arsenal in a more settled team, where he's really gonna really make his stamp and mark with players, really familiarizing themselves to how Martin plays. And the types of passes that he will make, which will help the strikers make the kind of runs. I believe that he can only go and kick on and even improve the stats that he's already put out now during his career. So there is a lot of room for that. Also, his character, that's a big difference between Maddison and Ødegaard for me. As we've seen, I can't judge too much on Maddison because I don't know him personally. But from what we've seen as a fan's perspective, Martin Ødegaard is a captain of Norway at the age of 22. That's not something to be sniffed at. Yes, he's one of the best players there alongside Erling Haaland. That's what you see, Ødegaard, Haaland. Oh, yeah, sorry, off track. But yeah, character's a massive part to play. The fact he's captain that team, and Mikel Arteta has spoken about his leadership qualities within the group as well, whilst he was at Arsenal on loan, speaks volumes to me. And with the type of environment that Arsenal are currently in, we do need that type. We do need a character at Arsenal. We do need someone who's going to lead, as we do have a lot of young players. Martin Ødegaard's one of them himself. But with the young players, and with the fact we're trying to build around the likes of Martinelli, Saka, Emile Smith-Rowe, Tierney, Gabriel, Ben White, next signing Ramsdale. Do you know what I mean? And I'm sure there's more. Balogun who's coming through as well. So we do have quite a young team at Arsenal, and it's right to have the people who are going to set the example day in, day out, demand the best, have those high standards. And with Maddison, I can't say too much in terms of on the field, what's his character like, because what we can see, he is an expressive player. He's in similar ways to like a Jack Grealish. He has personality and a swagger on the pitch. You know it's James Maddison without seeing a name and number or seeing his face, the way he plays. So Maddison does have that, but as we've seen as well, with Brendan Rodgers having to question his professionalism at times, that's never been the case for Martin Ødegaard. So just taking those things at face value, from what I can see as a fan, that's what I'm going to have to say. Like, he's already had a lot of experience as well. The age difference is 2 years, I believe, 2-3 years maybe, 3 years tops. But Martin Ødegaard has been playing professional football since he was 15 in Norway, in a smaller league, being a big star in Norway as well. At the age of 15, with all the hype on his shoulders, signing for Real Madrid at 16, making his debut there, training with Ronaldo. He's also had the disappointments as well of not being selected in teams and squads, and being sent out on loan to really graft and show that and try and prove to himself at a level, whereas at such a young age as well, whereas in the professional game, it can be quite a daunting task, even if you're playing lower down in the lower leagues. But playing in the lower leagues at a younger age, people look at you, all right, you looks like a kid. Let's go nail him. Let's go give him that. Let's go in hard on him. Let's show him what this game's about. You will see that in professional football as well. You see it all the time. Just look at Japhet Tanganga in Spurs' win over Man City. First minute, right into Raheem Sterling. As soon as Jack Grealish faced him, right into him, dropping him on the floor, causing issues. So, and that And that does play on your mind, especially as a young player. But he's been through all of those things. He's performed in different leagues. He's even come, as I said, at Arsenal and performed at a good level. Became a key player at points. And I feel like that he will only grow and his character will only develop at the age of 22. You'd still forget how young he is with all that experience, with the captain of Norway, as I said already, at the age of 22. It's ridiculous. So yeah, also the transfer fee is a big factor as well. The fact that we paid less than 34 million for Ødegaard, and then James Maddison, Leicester wanted 70 million pounds. So literally, we've paid less than half for Martin Ødegaard. And do you believe, you let me know in the comments below, do you believe that Martin Ødegaard is half the player of James Maddison? Because I certainly don't. For me, right now, if we had to sign a player who we need to make an impact straight away, I even think that's a debate in itself, because Martin Ødegaard's already played under this manager, played with these players. So James Maddison has played in the league, knows the language, but so does Martin Ødegaard as well. Norway is very Anglified, so they do speak a lot of English there. And yeah, he's already lived in this culture. He's been in the training ground, so he doesn't need that settling in period. So even that's a toss-up of a coin. But in terms of output that we want to see, like now and straight away, yeah, probably Maddison. Probably, yeah. And the stats will prove that. And if you're a Maddison fan, you will say, yeah, scores more goals, has had more assists in his career. So definitely take him. But is he twice the player? Are those assists like, do you know what I mean? Like, do you see that Maddison is going to like score and make twice as much of a difference in terms of the fee? I don't think so. And that's if you care about the fee. I don't care about that personally as a fan, because I don't believe that we should. I feel as Arsenal fans, we really do care a lot about the transfer fee because of our owners. You don't see Manchester City talking about the fee. It's always other fans that talk about the fee, like with Jack Grealish paying 100 million. You spent this amount on centre backs, this and that, but they've won. They've consistently won. So have Chelsea. The only time that we really talk about the fee in terms of clubs is Man United, because they continue to spend loads and loads of money, throw lots of cash at transfers and don't succeed. Maybe this season might be different. I don't think so with Ollie at the wheel. And the final point, which is a bit debatable in a way, potential. As I said, with Ødegaard, he's had that breakthrough when he came in, signed for Real Madrid. The sky was the limit. Real Madrid don't come for you if they don't believe they've got a potential. He could have chose any club in the world at that time. Yes, he's not fulfilled. Like, he's not completely fulfilled his potential at the age of 22. But has he ever been given the opportunity at Real Madrid? I don't believe so. Not in a consistent period under a manager that plays that system towards him. So it's quite hard to really say that. Also, does he have better potential than Maddison? Well, it's another one toss-up of a coin, and that's when I'm going to bring it back to the transfer fee, because of the such astronomical difference between the two players, how much we would pay. That's what makes it a much better signing for me. And so, yeah, for me, I'm happy with Martin Ødegaard. I think he will kick on. I think he will carry on performing and only improve in his performances. I think we'll only see an improvement of last season with Martin Ødegaard, and hopefully we do sign the right players in the future, as it is a 5-year contract. His contract is due until 2026. I hope that we do build around this attacking midfielder, this special talent that we do have at the club right now. And I know, I'm positive, I can say this now, hand on heart, yeah, Martin Ødegaard will prove his doubters wrong. The ones that said, oh, let's get Maddison. You will see it this season, because the way he is as a player, so technically gifted. He's not as two-footed as Maddison, but where he can generate enough chances through his left foot. That left foot is a wand, you see, and he's skillful, and the way he picks up positions, the way he turns with the ball, everything like that. he will only kick on, and we ain't paying that English tax on him. And speaking of English tax, that leads me to Aaron Ramsdale. So the news on this transfer is Arsenal made an agreement with Sheffield United to sign Aaron Ramsdale for £24 million plus £6 million in add-ons. The proposed contract is 4 years plus 1. So basically, Arsenal have the option to extend his contract by the year whenever we want, whenever we decide. Usually happens with 2 years remaining, then we decide, okay, do we want to take that extension? So yeah, so the powers with Arsenal in the contract, which is what we've seen with the contracts that we have given out to players and new signings. So it's nice to see Arsenal taking responsibility and taking ownership and control of players' contracts nowadays after all the times that we've been burnt. So every fan is talking about the price. I think that's the biggest sticking point, rather than you have seen people slander his ability as well as the goalkeeper, but I think that all revolves around how much Arsenal are paying for him. There's plenty of Arsenal fans on YouTube as well who completely disregard, who think we're a joke for making this signing, and there's people who are respectable and who don't just, in terms of respectable, I mean, they don't just, rant and rave every moment, but people who are generally on the positive sides and do look at the positive side of this transfer, who don't feel that way, and who feel that we're massively overpaying for Ramsdale. But for me, the fee only matters if Ramsdale fails. That's the case with any player. Ben White, if he fails at Arsenal, all you'll be hearing, £50 million down the drain, terrible signing. But if Pepe, look at Pepe, for example. When we signed him, everyone was all excited. Oh, Pepe, wow, 72 million. Yeah, but you've seen his goals, the output, you've seen how he's performed. It's a good signing. How did that happen? How did that work out? Do you know what I mean? How has it worked out so far, shall I say? Everyone's calling him a flop. Rival fans, all they do is talk about how Pepe, how are you paying £72 million for this? Da, 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 da. Yeah, so 1 second, sorry, I feel my throat getting a bit dry there. But yeah, the transfer fee only matters when a player fails. Let's look at Liverpool. Van Dijk, I can't even remember how much he cost Liverpool. It was around 70 million, something like that. Mo Salah, 35. You don't really hear no one talking about that, do you? So nobody talks about Bruno Fernandes' price and how much Man United paid for him because he's been successful. On the other hand, you hear a lot of people weigh up Paul Pogba, whether he's been a flop or not. Personally, I don't think he's been a flop, but I don't think he's lived up to expectation as well. But we're not talking about Man United, we're talking about Arsenal here. So I wouldn't spend too much time worrying about that. Let's look at the player and what his attributes bring. And that's where it's another sticking point for certain fans, as they don't feel we're paying that much money on a goalkeeper. On a goalkeeper that doesn't actually improve the first 11. 30 million, let's say round it, 25 million plus add-ons. So it's 25 million, yeah. On a goalkeeper that doesn't improve the first 11, when we could be spending that on other positions elsewhere. We could just be signing a stopgap for now, let's say. So with the likes of Matt Ryan, who's just gone to Real Sociedad, Sam Johnston, who would be significantly cheaper at the 10, 11 million mark. That's what's been reported, whether West Brom would sell for that. So, and arguably people think he's a better goalkeeper than Ramsdale currently at this time. But for me, the price is determined on how valuable the player is to the selling club. And with Sheffield United, they only just signed Aaron Ramsdale last season, you see. Last season, he won Player of the Season as well. So he was a key player for Sheffield United in the season that they did get relegated. It wasn't a particularly impressive season for Ramsdale and Sheffield United, but he was their best player. And yes, he did make mistakes, but he's a young goalkeeper. Have we seen a young goalkeeper really not make mistakes? The only goalkeeper that I can think of currently out there right now who doesn't act their age in terms of how their ability and maturity in terms of the game is Donnarumma, and how much would that cost to sign a player like Donnarumma if they are in that situation where they've just signed and they've got X amount of years left on their contract already. You'd be talking 100 million nearly with how the market is now. So for me, Aaron Ramsdale, he does have potential as well. He's under 23. He's an under 23 goalkeeper. He made the Euro squad because of Dean Henderson. So that probably makes him England's fourth best goalkeeper. At a young age, a different age compared to the other goalkeepers that we have with the likes of Pickford, Pope and Sam Johnston. He's quite a few years younger than them, so he still has room to develop. But for me, where he's better than Bernd Leno is his distribution. I think that's clear to see. There are stats out there that I haven't had enough time to come and look in for this video. I could have a look now, actually, if I share the screen. Give me 1 second. But yeah, I do believe that he has better kicking stats in terms of his long passes as well. Actually, no. But yeah, I've got to keep my notes up on the screen. So with that, I do think that we will see Aaron Ramsdale in an Arsenal shirt. Well, we will see him in an Arsenal shirt, as it looks like, as David Ornstein's reported. And I'm going to give the man time. I personally, I wouldn't have went for it, but I can see where Arsenal are looking at. The homegrown factor is a massive one as well. And I've heard fans say, I don't understand why we're paying such attention to this homegrown factor. With the Premier League, they are looking, well, it's reported that they're looking to increase the homegrown quota that each team will have. So that basically means that each team will need to have more English players that have come through the academy, that have lived in England X amount of years. I think it's 3 seasons, before the age of 23. Yeah, before they turn 23, something like that, to make yourself a homegrown player. And that's what Aaron Ramsdale is. That adds a lot. Second backup goalkeeper. He's much better than Runnison and what we currently have. And our other two goalkeepers, Arthur Okonkwo and Carl Hein, are 18 and 19, 20 at the most, and they're not ready yet, as we've seen in pre-season with Arthur Okonkwo, and we haven't even seen Hein. So he's someone who's ready, who's young enough, and who's got a lot of room to develop as well as a goalkeeper. And he already has the raw attributes in terms of his distribution, which is better than Leno. Shot stopping, that's even arguable as well. I do think he can command a box better than Leno, which is from what we saw against Brentford as well. So there isn't that much of a difference between Leno and Ramsdale, in my opinion, and we will hopefully see him break into the first team. And because I'm sick and tired of Bernd Leno now, and his kicking and his distribution and his lack of aerial threat in terms of dealing with crosses. And so, yeah, I'm not a big fan at the moment, and I do feel that we need another goalkeeper to at least challenge him. Yes, he's not the level of Emi Martinez. We know that, and you'll hear Arsenal fans saying, why would we sell Emi for 20 mil and then we've signed a worse goalkeeper for 5 million more? That's a specific situation in itself. Don't think I need to go into too much detail on that, but basically, nobody was interested in Bernd Leno last season. Everybody wanted Martinez. Well, Villa were willing to pay the money that we needed to be able to fund more signings in key areas like midfield, which is still an area we need to address. So, yeah, that's why if Arteta had it would have been a much trickier decision if Arteta had interest in Leno and Martinez and he had to decide which one is he going to keep. So, yeah, I think his hands were tied in that. But with these signings, and if we sign one more player, then hang on, no. If we sign 2 more players, a centre midfielder and a right back, all eyes has to be on Arteta. The Cronkies, of course they can still get blamed because we're in the position of where we are today because of the poor decisions that they've made. But what we can't do as Arsenal fans anymore is talk about the lack of investment, which is what gets thrown about a lot. Yes, they didn't invest in the years that we needed them to with the new stadium. When we moved into the new stadium, we needed them to invest in the team so that we could really build a squad around players like Fabregas, Van Persie, Nasri, Adebayor, so we didn't have to sell these players. Ozil, Sanchez, even, so we could really be a challenging team for titles, Champions Leagues, and the big trophies. So we can't use that excuse anymore from the past. Since Emery, really, since that Pepe deal, they've only gone and spent quite a bit of money since and backed the managers. Whether they've spent the money correctly on the right players, and they sort out the recruitment side as well, as we've seen a lot of turnover in staff and changing of roles, like with Mikel Arteta from head coach to manager, Edu being there, Sven Mislintat, Raul Sanyehi, now Vinay. So as Arsenal fans, we can still blame Kroenkes and really put responsibility on their door if everything goes wrong. But we, as Arsenal fans now, for someone who has been defending Arteta, I don't think we can do that anymore. I don't think if he fails with this team, he has been given sufficient tools. He's been backed more than any other manager apart in since Arsene Wenger's left. I know we've only had Emery, but Emery didn't get back to this extent. You could even argue that in this short space of time that Arteta's been here, that Arsene Wenger never got back to this extent. And Arsene Wenger is one of the greatest managers ever of Arsenal Football Club, and one of the greatest managers in the Premier League. So, and one of the greatest managers ever, in my opinion. But you know, the latter ends of Arsenal's years would make people beg to differ. But yeah, so a lot of pressure on Arteta now. We still do need to sign 2 more players in my eyes, centre midfielder and right back. And then I feel that once again who we bring as well. But as long as we sign those players, it's positive as an Arsenal fan because they're looking to correct these areas. Even if we sign everyone who seem to be the consensus of Arsenal fans, so like the likes of Basuma, if we signed Maddison, if we signed, who else is Arsenal fans been? Onana, they might not all still have worked out because it's very rare that a group signing a lot of players like that will all succeed. Signings are very hit and miss, as we've seen with Partey, who everyone thought he'd succeed. Currently, right now, he's failing, unfortunately, and that's just what it is. And just want to say a good shout out and thank you to my brother Samson. Yes, my brother, good to see you back on your grind. Thank you very much for joining the stream. But I'm going to wrap it up here as well. Thank you very much, people, for joining and for watching this video as well. I hope that you have enjoyed it. And I will be bringing another stream tomorrow. Bit better organization. We'll bring a lot more energy as well. About a busy day today. But I've got to put this content out there, keep performing and keep developing. So, yeah, I hope that you have enjoyed it. If you have, leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe. And also let me know what you think I could do better. Any different content, that's out there that you really want to see, what you want to see me break down and analyze. That's what I'm doing it for. I want to really create this community where we can discuss certain things, whether it's your club, anything to do with football, overall aspect, European, you name it, anything in the football world, I'm here to discuss, and I'd love to be involved and discuss that with you people. So thank you very much. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day, morning, evening, afternoon, or night. Thank you.